my God. Hang on. And no, don't end stream. Hang on. Okay, finally, that's what I was watching. Sorry, guys. My headset disconnected and reconnected. Okay, I was going to do an intro, but not anymore. That's the end of that. Screw that, my intro. It disconnected me and reconnected me. Okay, so as you can see, there goes the ticker. Okay, as you can see, Anna Maria Manalo isn't here today. Anna Maria Manalo had car trouble and she's stuck at a dealership or a mechanic shop getting fixed, so she cannot be on the show. Then I go in anyway. Lots going on, and it's comical. You get to a certain point during the month when things are going wrong, like they have all week for me. You get to a certain point where you just don't give a hoot. You gotta laugh at stuff that's going on. I found out, and I know this one, and I can tell you for sure that it wasn't like this last week. Because last week I had logged into my laptop with TikTok, and there was no problem with it. And this week, trying to get into my new phone to log into TikTok, it told me I didn't exist, and I was wondering what was going on with that. Well, last night I was messing around with my phone, went to get into my personal account on TikTok, and that's gone. That does not exist. Okay, it's there, but there's no followers or anything. And I had followers on that account, not many. I had like 10 followers at that point, but that's not there. So then I start Googling California haunts on there, and I had set up like 3 days ago a California Haunts 2 backup, to try and build up people over there so I'd have some place to go if I lost my account. Well, when I brought it up into my system, there were 3 California Haunts accounts, but the other one, which is a complete clone to the one I have, is not spelled California Haunts. Okay, so it's CALIFO. Is that right? Yeah, NIFORNI. California. I think it's funny because to me it reads California Haunts, right? So there's a complete clone of my account out there, and I know for a fact that if I go through the channels at TikTok, they're going to say, "Oh no, it doesn't violate," even though it's me that they're violating. It doesn't violate their standards or bunch of stuff. So, so this is where it's at. So I was doing some research online, and then I found a way that I could possibly get everything done to get them all off. The problem I have is I can't log into my account. So what's going to happen there? If I can't log into my account, then I'm going to have to lose my account and 3,800 people, and I've worked so hard to get there, especially with the psychic readings that I'm doing. Because I'm starting to make a little money. So it really, really sucks right now. The question marks are still out there. It's going to take, according to what I heard from this person, it'll take TikTok at least a week and a half before they either respond to me and say, okay, you're legit, you own the account, or tell me, that they can't fix it. I'm going to have to start from scratch. So then every psychic reading I built myself up to do is all null and void. All my points, everything I have is going to be gone. Everything. So it really sucks. I've got almost $60 in diamonds over there, and I can't cash that out. So I hit 100. I've got, I'm starting to build money up in my, award thing, from gifts. I'll probably end up losing all that too. Plus all the videos I have that I've done, everything I've done, I will lose. So it's really risky. So when I do this with TikTok, I'm going to ask them, what can we do to keep my account? Can they do something on their end to touch with the login so I can figure out how to get in there and re-log in to get to my account? So it really sucks. Okay. The funny thing is on this camera, this phone, I can get into my backup account, but if I re-log in, but I can't get into my main account because whoever that is just blocked my main account, even though it still works on my iPhone and my laptop. So I don't know. It's been one of those weeks. And the last 3 accounts that I need, and I'm afraid to try and get the meetup now too. So the last 3 accounts that I need is TikTok, Instagram, and meetup, and then I'll have my spread on accounts to where I advertise my shows and everything. If I can't get in a meetup, that's going to be a problem. That's going to be another major problem because I'm on Facebook. I'm doing great. I'm on Messenger now, but Instagram doesn't like my profiles for some reason. So Meetup tends to go through and be Facebook. You can use Facebook to log in, and yeah, you see the picture that I'm trying to deal with right now. So I did have that meetup event planned. It's not going to happen now. I don't have internet until midweek. I may be able to to get that video cranked up and do it once I get internet in, but right now everything is up in the air. Um, it's just been a real crappy week. This and God bless Anna Maria Manalo. She will be back, to do the show, but it's just the timing really sucks. So the way things have been going this week, I was looking forward to. I will be out. Hopefully, if McDonald's is in good humor, lets me in. I will be out at 7:30 doing free doing tarot reads out at McDonald's parking lot because that's the only place I have it at this point. So I'll be doing that. I got my headlamp, so I'm going to be out there talking to you guys, with a headlamp on, so I can read the cards. But it has just been an incredibly stressful week. Let me see if I can get this lighting a little better too. Use my usual lighting. Ah, there we go. Hello. So I don't look like an alien. I got an interesting picture off next to us. We could talk about that. Um, the other thing I want to talk about is I do have a bike for sale. I had the bike for like 3-4 years. I bought it. It was $350 originally, and it's supposed to be better for your back. This bike, yeah, it's a road bike. Yeah, it's a 15 speed. It's for women. I'm 5'5". I had no problem riding it, and I can't do it anymore because I have an ear thing going on. So I will fall. I will fall off. It's not happening for me anymore. So I want to sell it. Anybody out there that would like to get their wife or their daughter a bike? The only thing it needs right now is just going to need to be like cleaned up, which is fine. There's no rust or anything on it, but you're probably going to need tires. You're going to need a tune-up. Like I said, it's a 15 or 18 speed. I can't remember, but it's practically brand new, and I'm on it's a $300 bike for $45. Okay, for $45. So if anybody out there needs a bicycle, let me know. Women's bicycle, because I'm going to put it up on Facebook Marketplace and Craigslist and try to move it this weekend. So I have cash, coming in. Because if this keeps up with TikTok, it's causing me issues to where I can't make any money off of TikTok right now because there's just too much going on. At this point, it's just insane. My stomach is churning. I mean, it's just been one of those weeks. No stress, right? Right. In fact, I got to call my cardiologist because I think he's trying to call my other phone and they can't get through. Even though I can go over there to McDonald's and see the calls that come through Skype. So I'm gonna have to verify. I think I'm supposed to see them the day before Halloween on 30th. I think that's what I'm doing. That'll be an interesting reading after this week. So right now with TikTok, I'm just gonna continue with my main account, make videos, do my thing, and I'll get some Halloween videos out this week or tonight for you guys. Because I have to go pick up some stuff at the Dollar Tree anyway, so I'll be over in that parking lot and I can move some videos around, to post some videos, TikTok videos, and post some stuff to get some stuff from CapCut, post those, and all that good stuff. So I'll be doing that today. But again, if anybody, it would be a great donation. I need there's a way the phone bill went down with the new phone. They're they decided to bill me like 8 days after I got the phone for whatever reason. So I have to come up with a $41 payment for my new phone. So I really need the help. If anybody wants a reading, I'd be willing to do tarot reading for you. Let's say I'll do a 5, 6, 7 card reading for you for $10. Something like that. I'll do a 3-card reading for $3.99. So if anybody wants a reading, I'm more than willing to do that. I need to make money. I have no choice. I have to get that going. So if you guys can help me out with that, or somebody could find it in their heart to donate $45 into my PayPal account or Venmo account, that would be wonderful. And I can turn around and pay, my phone bill right away. So that would be fantastic. That would be fantastic for you. We are making the switch to Restream, and today's my last day with probably my last day, or it might be Sunday. With StreamYard, it's going to be today or Sunday. Will be my last day with that. I will be able to read the book on Sunday, like I always do. So we'll be reading from Frankenstein on Sunday. So that's not going to stop. But everything I had planned, everything I wanted to do, it's like there's always a roadblock going up. It was supposed to be on this phone. TikTok was supposed to be on this phone, so I could go out in the field and take you guys to different events, haunted houses, pumpkin patches, whatever. I can't do that until I can get TikTok away. And you have to have 1,000 people following you before you can even go live. So therein lies the conundrum. Okay, because right now my other cell phone the SIM card isn't working in it, so I can only be on. I have to be on the internet to use it, which is that's what I've been using to do my TikTok stuff here at the house and the readings and everything on every night. So right now I don't have that, so that's why I have to be at McDonald's with the other phone. So it's real touchy what's going on TikTok, and I need to figure out my passwords, but I need to access my account. So there's got to be somebody over there that can help me, or somebody out there in the universe that can help me retrieve my account from TikTok. Okay, so I can get back in, because it's just getting to the point where it's just, I mean, I'm terrified to lose my account. That's why I'm not messing with anything on the other cell phone, because I'm afraid if I log out, I'll never get back in. So I'm leaving that, I'm leaving that normal, like it is. Anyway, yesterday we were talking about ghosts, especially ghosts at my house. Let me have some water here. It's been a day. It's going to be a day. It's going to be all day. I don't go on the air tonight until 7:30 at TikTok, so got lots to do anyway. I mean, like I said, I'm going to shoot some Halloween videos. I didn't have breakfast yet. I mean, it's just like, I went to bed early last night, and the issue with that is that if I go to bed early like that at night, I'll wake up early. So of course I woke up at 3 o'clock this morning, and then I couldn't get back to sleep. So I was futzing around with the internet and doing things, and so I didn't fall back to sleep till around 8:30, and I had the alarm set for 10:30. But I mean, I got a full night's sleep either way, But it's nice. Big difference, my iPhone. Something happened with the sound on it. It's an iPhone 11, and I could never actually put the receiver up to my ear and hear people. I used to have to be on speakerphone all the time, and the speaker part didn't work very well either. I get on this phone and everything's crystal clear. I can hear stuff. I can actually play, like I have that relaxed stuff going on, so I can wind down at night. I can actually hear all that. So it's kind of fun. It's fun. It's fun. I'm still not an Android person. That's okay. Anyhow, let's talk ghosts. Let's talk about some ghosts. I'm just looking at stuff down there. Oh yeah, this thing back here, this sign back here. I have to bend it. I have to find a new plug-in for it, because it's having the cord is having issues. So I have to get a new cord for it that comes out of that. So I'm gonna have to track something down. I have lots of them here, so something will work. Anyway, talking ghosts. We got about 45 minutes left. Let's see if I can get into a roll like I was yesterday. Yesterday, once I got going, we just had a great little conversation about ghosts. So let's see what I can do as far as that role goes. Talking about different ghosts. 25 years doing this as a ghost hunter, and I've, not only is my house active, but I've seen a lot out, being out in the field doing ghost hunts. I've experienced a lot. We talked kind of briefly yesterday about, excuse me bringing things home with me, and how I can tell the difference between the ghosts in my house and the ghosts that I bring home. One thing I can tell you is a friend of mine had a low-level demon in her house. And demons, whether you realize it or not, are like, it's like any other job. There's higher level demons, and there's lower level demons. And so if you look online and do some Googling, you'll find the different lower level demons. In fact, there's several listings of them on there. And, excuse me, allergies. In this particular case, she had a lower level demon in her house. So Trish Dolis and I go in there, and we're getting rid of this thing. We're fighting it. We're getting rid of it. We went ahead and did some cleansing around the outside of the house and everything, so we couldn't do it. Problem was, because I was the one making the most noise, it decided to follow me home. And I came home, and when people do investigations, you're pretty well charged up. Excuse me, it's like coming home from work. You're pretty well charged up, so you don't want to go to sleep right away. So usually what you do is you listen over your recordings. Even if you don't do it on the computer, you're listening to your recordings to hear, if you got an EVP or not, or maybe you'll look at your video. Well, I decided to do that. I sat down to do that. And as I was sitting down, my right arm started to hurt really bad. And when I lifted my arm up, I had 3 scratches going down my arm. So I instantly knew that thing had followed me home, whatever it was, whatever level demon it was. And so I had to do all kinds of cleansing. I went over to Catholic Church, and got some holy water and did all that. I was able to cleanse it out of here. But it did follow me home, and that one was scary because it was a low level demon. I mean, it wasn't going to like take me over or possess me or anything like that because it was low level. But just having it in my house at the time my mother had just had a stroke, and I didn't like having my dogs and all that. I didn't like having that thing in my house at all. So I got that out. It's hard. And my neighbors think it's funny. My neighbors find it humorous that I'll open up all my doors and windows and I'll yell, "Get the hell out of my house!" It's something that I don't like. It's negative. Um, the neighbor kid. This house, I guess, is so haunted, especially at night. And the lights must turn on by themselves, or something's going on with that because I'm hunched over. I hate this chair. This is the week I've had. Okay, I can't get into my accounts. Found that I had been hacked and all this is going on. My favorite chair broke, so I'm in this other chair that I can't stand. Favorite chair broke. Got power issues over here with that. That's how the week's gone, and then I can't get into my accounts. So yeah, I'm ready for the week. I'm ready for some TikTok, do some TikTok videos and just relax. The neighbor kids. I was unloading my car. For some reason, I was in the driveway. I was unloading my car. I think at that point we had our two cars left in the driveway, and I was still with my mother here, and so I was unloading my car for groceries, and the little neighbor boy walks up. He couldn't have been more than like 11 or 12, but he walks up. Hello, hello, how are you? Blah 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 blah. And he doesn't say anything, and he looks straight at me, and he says, "You've got ghosts." Not you look for ghosts. You've got ghosts. So I'm dying to like put a camera like when I leave at night. I'm dying to put a camera like on my house to see if there's issues with the lights going on off in my house or something. For people in the neighborhood to notice that there's weird things going on when I'm not at home. Because who knows? They're probably having a dead man's party for all I know. You know. And so one of the things that came up early this morning was that app next door where everybody you can talk and find out if there's stuff out there for them to buy or stuff, things like that. Anyway, it's been happening for I guess over the month that there's these children showing up at people's front door at 9 p.m. every night, different, various front doors, and they're asking for work. And this is not the first case. Anyway, this person got a picture with a ring camera of this kid or whoever this was standing at the front door, and they were dressed like a burglar. They had black hat, the black nylon hat on. They were dressed in black all the way. That's like I dressed in black. What struck me with this was that it's usually one kid that does it. There's one kid going around, but there, like they said, there's been cases of this all over the neighborhood. First thing I think, being the ghost hunter that I am, and I'm looking at this photo, is a black-eyed kid. Had I had the computer for this show, I would have flashed the photo up of this kid and just blocked the face out. But that's the first thing. I really can't have permission either. I mean, let me put it on next to him. But that's what strikes me with this: is he's all dressed in black, and you can barely see his eyes. But I mean, his face is light colored, and that's what struck me with it was. I wonder if it's black-eyed children. We have black-eyed children in the neighborhood. I've never heard that in Sacramento, but I just wonder because, like they say, it's always after dark. It's always like 9 p.m. when they show up and they go knock on your door, which is an MO for black-eyed kids. Here I can help you with something in your house. Let me in. Boom, right? Or in this case, like everybody's talking on next door, I can help you with something to steal stuff from you. Maybe some burglary or something. There's a guy look like a burglar. There's a kid. But that was my first impression when I saw it. Doing the kind of work I do, it hit me to be a black-eyed kid. And it's interesting because if it is, I can get some verification for some like Nancy Matz and people like that. This is huge, for this area, and they've been doing this like for over a month, months or more than a month, coming to people's front doors after it's dark. So there could be some. So watch out, guys. There could be some black-eyed kids in the neighborhood. So it was enough for me to like take a screenshot of the photo, thinking it was a black-eyed kid. So that happened. I think that happened the last couple of days, 1 or 2 days ago, that they never got a picture of this, right? Anyway, I told you guys at the outset with all this that things are going to be up and down until I got my main internet installed here, and that's what's going on. I probably won't have internet here until Wednesday or Thursday, so it's going to be up and down with shows. We probably have guests, we not have guests, blah blah blah. But I cannot do best of. I think I could do best of now. I think I could do best of. I just have to remember about the space on this computer to make sure on this phone to make sure I don't use the space up. I'm going to try it and see what happens. Then I'll delete the video. Once the video is downloaded, I'll go ahead and delete it. Once I get it set up for the best of. Once I get it uploaded for the best of. So we'll see what I can do next week and figure all that out until I can get proper internet. So, but anyway, getting back to ghosts. So with the black-eyed kids thing, to me that's what it struck me as a black-eyed kid. Not many people, unless you're into the paranormal, are going to know about that stuff. So the neighbors are, these different neighbors are thinking it's some kids. But I have a, it wouldn't surprise me with the MO, coming in after dark like that. That's a black-eyed kid. But anyway, this kid. So you've got ghosts, not you hunt ghosts, nothing like that. But you got ghosts. That's what this kid said. So yeah. So that was an adventure, that opened my eyes because I thought, gee, I wonder what happens when I'm not home in this house. But there are negatives that come through, and even here I'll bring stuff home, like I talked about yesterday how I can tell when it's not a ghost that belongs here because I'm used to the ones here. Plus, I have an agreement with the ones here. It's a whole thing of I know you're here, I'm here, and I know you're here. Don't scare me. So I have this agreement with the ghosts that are here. Sometimes they'll do humorous things, and when one comes in and stuff starts getting thrown around, like my other office, I had one that I got, and it was funny because I went to get some lunch at this Taco Bell, and I have to drive by this Chinese restaurant on the way back, a Chinese buffet, Asian buffet. And my friend who's psychic was in the car, she goes, and I had to stop for gas, so I pulled in. The gas station's almost right next door to where this Asian buffet is. And my friend looked at me and she said, you realize that there's an old man here in the back. He walks around the back like the garbage can. And I said, okay, cool, So I got my gas and drove home, and I'm sitting here. I'm sitting in the other studio. Used to be the California House office, and I'm doing some work on the computer, and I start seeing stuff. I start hearing things behind me. I look around, and I see a hairbrush that I had floating in the air and then being dry, and then it falls to the floor. And I'm thinking, well, that's not one of the ghosts here. And it turns out it was pretty much that ghost from behind that restaurant. And like I said yesterday, a lot of the times when these benign ghosts come, okay, he was just confused about where he was. I think, when these benign ghosts come, they just hang out for a couple of days because then they realize that's not where they belong. So then they go back to wherever they belong, like behind the building over there. So he eventually he left. But there's been other instances where I brought stuff home with me. I did the hotel in the Fallon Hotel in Columbia, and there was a big to do about that investigation because we had a lot happen. And one of the things that happened that stood out was a lot of witnesses. We were finally kind of wrapping up for the day. It was like 2, 3 in the morning, and we were in the main parlor at the Fallon Hotel, and we were doing a session. I had dowsing rods. There were like 8 other ghost hunters in there with me, my team, and we were all sitting around, just kind of drinking some water and doing our thing. And it was dark. The lights were off. We were all in the dark. And the hallway was really dark, and the only light that was coming in really was through the front door. The front door's stained glass, so the light was gorgeous. It was absolutely gorgeous front door, and so the light was coming into the door, and you could see it. So it was kind of lit up. And we're sitting there doing our thing, and one of my investigators said, "Charlotte, there's someone coming up behind you in the hallway." And I looked back, I didn't see anything, so I just continued to do my thing. I thought, okay, that's fine. We were the only ones in the hotel at that time. There's no one else in it. And I kept doing my questioning and dowsing rod work. And then I looked over to my right, and there was a shadow man, about 6 feet tall, watching. He was just standing there watching. He couldn't have been more than 10 feet away from me, from where I was. and everybody else saw him as well. This is this mass witness thing, right? 8 other witnesses from my team saw this shadow man. I didn't really have any fear, but he seemed more curious than others, or maybe he felt he wanted to make sure that we weren't doing anything bad in the hotel. Maybe that was his thing. Maybe a former hotel manager or something. And so one of my investigators, who's Christian at the time, stands up and says, in the name of JC, get out, get out, get out. And so he turned and he walked through the front door. Literally walked to the stained glass. So I took a deep breath and I thought, well, he's out of here, so I'm going to go ahead and continue. So I started continuing with my session. Well, he came back. He came walking back. And he stood in the same spot. And then the second time he came through, it felt menacing. So I stopped doing the session. We packed up and left. The other thing that happened on that investigation was driving up there. It takes a while to get up there. The place, what the heck? Everything else. The place is up by Yosemite National Park. And so it takes, I'm not going to say forever, but it takes a few hours to get up there. And on the drive up, I was in there with one of my investigators in the car, with the van with one of the investigators. And all of a sudden, it got really cold in the van. Really cold. And we both looked at each other and I thought, man, it is really, really cold in here. And so I get on the phone, I'm talking to Nancy Matz, and she says, well, there's a man in the car with you. Right? Because here's something I'm going to tell you guys. It's kind of fun to do and kind of scary to do at the same time. When people have accidents on the freeway and perish, some people still stay attached to those areas. And what I found, because my car hasn't had air conditioning in the last couple of years, is that when you drive down the freeway with your windows down, if you have no AC, you can feel cold spots on the freeway, which is where someone perished. So my first thought, and this wasn't a freeway, this was a windy road going up to Columbia. But my first thought was, well, maybe it was an accident somewhere up here. Somebody just hitched a ride with us. We drove through the area without realizing that somebody hitched a ride. So I get on the phone, I call Nancy. What's going on? And she says, well, there's a man in the car with you. So we drive. So he's in the car the whole time. Another 30 minutes, he's sitting there in the car with us. We finally get to the hotel. And he's still there. We get out of the car. And we're trying to meet up with the night manager at the hotel. And so we're knocking on the door. We're knocking on that door. No one's coming. No one's coming. Okay? And we're like, hey, we're out here. We had an appointment. No one came. Finally, someone from up the street came because he could hear us. That's how loud we were trying to get in the hotel. Right? So somebody because the same people that own that hotel own another hotel down the street. And he heard me. And so he came down to let us in. Well, when we go in, the night manager at the hotel was like one room over. She had the door propped open, but she never heard us at the door. Now, was it this being that, was this man being that was in the car with us? Was he causing us not to be heard because he didn't want us in there? That's the question. So we start doing the investigation, and there was one particular room where they had seen a little boy playing with a ball. So I go in there, start doing my investigation, and again, this male spirit appears that goes through the dowsing rods and tell us that he didn't appreciate us being there. He didn't want us in that room. He didn't like us in that room. So I said, well, okay, all right, that's fine. So we get out of the room. And then at one point, I don't know if the employees in this sees us or what, but got everything set up and the power goes out. Okay, power comes back on. Nope, it didn't harm anything, but that happened too. So it could have been somebody, extra in the hotel. And I found out because I don't use bathrooms in haunted locations because ghosts tend to hang out in bathrooms. So I tend not to do it. But I had to use the bathroom this time. And my teammate was taking a tour of the hotel with the manager. And the hotel actually has a small theater connected to it. Okay. Columbia was like Virginia City, right? So that's you get that feel, that vibe. And on the weekends and stuff, they actually go all out. There's stage coaches and they have gunfights and all this stuff goes on. And they also do stuff in that theater. So there's a theater and a little ice cream shop next door to the hotel, but they're both connected. Anyway, so they were going into the theater. I think they had to go. There's stairs, so I don't remember if they had to go down into the theater or they had to go up into the theater. But anyway, my investigator friend was taking the tour of the building, which we do, when we do those building tours. Once we go dark, we have to make sure that we're stepping in the right spot, and we have to be aware of our surroundings. And she got pushed by somebody down the stairs, and she came over and told me. So whoever this was, this man that was in the car with us, was not happy with us being there at all. And so we went ahead and did the investigation, which led up to the incident in the parlor. When he would walk by, stop and stare at us, and then he left, and then he came back, and he was really menacing. I have got this thing just went in. Okay, screen's not supposed to go to the screensaver on this phone, but it did. I just have you guys. So anyway, that happened. But the interesting thing was, got done with the investigation, drove home. And again, I talked about this yesterday. This was a time when my father was sick, and so my mother. And at that point, my mother had had her strokes or nothing, so she was still all right. But I would sleep on the couch with my clothes on, just in case we had to get up in the middle of the night and get my dad to Kaiser or call an ambulance or whatever. So I'm sleeping away, and suddenly while I'm sleeping, I feel something lay on top of me, literally lay on top of me. And so I reach up like this, and I start pushing off. And I grab like what felt like arms or shoulders, and I pushed off and said, "Just get off of me." And that was the end of that, from what I could tell, right? So I get a hold of my friend. Maybe it might have been Nancy, one of my psychic people on my team, psychic team members. And I remember them telling me he came home from the hotel in Columbia. And I said, well, thank you, Cha Cha Man. That's the other thing. I can't get into my Discord now either from this phone. So I don't know what's going on with Discord either. I use my password and everything and won't let me in. That's another one I can't access. So I have to get to McDonald's and access from my other phone. Figure out what's going on. I might go in and change the pass. What I'll go do is get my sign in on the other phone, and then I'll go ahead and change the password so I can log in from this phone. Anyway, so from what she told me was that I reminded this gentleman of someone he knew back when he was alive, and so he decided to follow me home. But then he went back. Once I rejected him, he went back. But I don't know if it was the same. I don't know if it was the same gentleman who was in the car to start with, and the same guy that was harassing my team while we were there. It could have been. So I have no clue. But nonetheless, I tried to sleep, and it felt like there was this person on top of me, so I had to shove them off. The other time, never fails. Trying to think of these times. I get in jumble. There's so many out there of stuff following me home, and stuff happening. I did a prelim where we go out, we ask questions and stuff up at Placerville with the Sequoia, which is now, it used to be a restaurant, but now it's a event center. But we went up to the prelim, beautiful place, and I come home and I go to church, get ready for. This is the point where I'm going to bed. And my parents were out of town at the time, and I come home and I turn my TV off, and I could hear two men talking. And I thought, where did that come from? Because remember, I told you that I had ghosts in the house. So whatever was going on was whatever followed me home from Sequoia was having a conversation with one of the ghosts of one of my regular family ghosts here. I guess they were checking him out, and it kind of freaked me out to have that guy come home. I go to use the restroom, and this is what I'm saying. I have a thing about using the restroom in haunted buildings, except my house. I go to use the restroom, and as I'm sitting there, I felt a finger go down, started just at the base of my neck and go down my back. I could feel it. And that was enough. So that's where I started. My neighbors thought it was funny. That's where I started the whole thing of opening the door and windows, and yelling to get the hell out of my house. And that's what I did. That's where the neighbors first heard me do that, to get that guy out of my house, to send him back wherever he should be. But I did have something or someone follow me home from the restaurant. So it does happen. That's the risk you take doing this work. It does happen. I'm relaxed. Sorry for turning. I'm just kind of relaxed right now, trying to unwind. I'm gonna try and make this an unwind kind of day because of the stress I've had all week. I'm tired of stressing, so I'm just trying to. I got to clean house and stuff today. It's the weekend and all that, but I'm just trying to unwind. And so this is something, and Nancy will probably get me for it. My mother always put us in a rocking chair. Always sat with us in a rocking chair. And my sister and I, my brother, had the same habit. And what you do is because it's soothing to be sitting in that rocking chair. And so our legs will, if we're sitting, I haven't done it in a long time though, but we will, if our legs are dangling, we tend to move our legs. Like I'm doing, I kind of move my leg right now. We'll either move our legs side to side or up and down. It'll be at least one leg. Kind of like that motion when you're in the rocking chair, your legs dangling over the chair is going like this. So we all do it. So as I sit here, and this one turns so nice and not making obnoxious noises, that's what's going on right now. Is it's relaxing me. And that goes back to those days of my mother holding me in a rocking chair. So I apologize for the moving around. But it feels good to me. I need it with the stress I've been under. So that's one of the ones I brought home. I talked about the ghost from the Woodland Opera House that came home with me and was wreaking havoc with the work I was doing on the videos and throwing the tapes across the room, the videotape. Talked about that one coming home with me. There's one in particular, I don't know if I talked about this yesterday, but there was one in particular that came home with me that was so strong that we have a through the wall air conditioner in my dining room. That's it. House is old school. It's almost 100 years old, this house. Scary to think, but it is. It was built in 1956. 56, somewhere around there. And I think it's close to 70. And so we have this big, I mean it's big, it'll do air conditioned like 1,500 square feet. It's such a big wall, it's through the wall air conditioner. And so you can take the front off on these things. You can clean, and everybody that's had through the window air conditioner knows you can take the wall off, the front grate off these air conditioners, and you can actually get to the inside and clean there's a little filter in there that you have to clean to keep the air conditioner running. Otherwise, if the filter fills up, it'll stop running. So the front pops off of these things. And so I'm sitting there watching TV, and this is, of course, after an investigation. And something was able to, and I heard it rip. Something was able to take the front of the air conditioner off and threw it across the room into my center divider area. I mean, I would say that's about maybe 15 feet. That front of that air conditioner went. That grate on their hit, 15 feet. And it was with force because it bounced off. It literally hit, impacted, and bounced off the center divider. So then I had to deal with that one. So things like that happen here. And I mean, when you become a ghost hunter, that's the risk you take. I mean, sometimes you can use all the protection in the world when you're out in the field and all the cleansing afterwards. And no matter what you do, if something wants to come and follow you home, it's going to do it. It does. You can do all this cleansing and stuff you want, but if something is intent on following you home, it's going to come home with you. There was a case in Vacaville which I didn't go to because I had a bad feeling about it. So my investigators went out on their own on that one. I was able to monitor via closed circuit with the DVR system when they were out there, plus the phone and all that. One of my investigators, a male who was a psychic, went out on this case. Real cocky guy, believes he knew everything about investigating. I love this stuff, blah, blah, blah. He goes out there and they were dealing with something dark. They ended up calling a priest in to help with it. But they were dealing with something dark. And, hang on 1 second, guys. Oh, okay. Okay. Thank you for the comment. And he goes upstairs. And there's one particular room that had a lot more stuff going on in it than the other rooms, which is par for the course for these cases. And I found out that he came out of the room and he was confused. His heart was pounding real hard, and he said that he had this headache, and he couldn't find his way downstairs. He was totally confused and lost. When he finally did figure out, in fact, somebody had to go up and guide him downstairs because he had no clue where the front door was. Once he got downstairs, he had no clue where the front door was to this house or anything. Whatever this was had really gone at him. And, who knows? Who knows? But that was one of the things that I had gotten, like with my dowsing rods before I went, was that someone was going to have a heart attack. And I thought, I got congestive heart failure. Why would I go on this case and just put myself, in the line of fire on that one? So I went, nope, I'm not going. To somebody else. So anyway, he had nearly had a heart attack on this case. His heart was, they said that they thought they were going to have to either drive him home or call an ambulance. He was so pale when he came downstairs. But then everything settled down, and then I get calls going, I want to do some more of this. I want to do some more of this. But you need to take a break. Take a break. So that one in particular affected him. In that case, that turned out to be demonic, and they did bring out a priest to handle that one. And I think the woman still had some problems after that, but then we haven't heard from her. So I think everything has settled down on that case. But that was an interesting case, and the fact that he did get sick. He really really got sick. I've had investigators on investigations, especially Murphy's Hotel was another one, where I had 3 investigators have to leave to get out and get some air because the air got so heavy and thick that they were getting physically ill. So you run into that. Like I said, that's par for the course. When you take on being an investigator, that's the stuff you have to take. You have to take that for granted that's going to happen. Because if you don't belong doing this. Because the minute, if you're not taking, that's what I made it creep. You know that? If you try to ignore that kind of thing from happening, it's going to be worse on you. I had an investigator get slapped, even in the face. She got slapped. And it was funny because I've known her for a long time. Very logical person, very logical thinking. And we were doing it. We were in Placerville at this restaurant, and we were live on Block Talk Radio. And I had walkie-talkies with everybody so that you guys, on the air could hear what was going on during the investigation. And we were live on Block Talk Radio at the time, and she was outside. They were doing this. I don't know if they were doing a semicircle or just in a small circle doing an EVP session. But all of a sudden I hear, oh, geez, I feel like I got slapped. Had her come in, took photos, and you could actually see the handprint on her face, like this, where something slapped her out there, outside. No matter, the photo, no matter what, she said, well, maybe it was a bug. Maybe it was a bug that got me, But you definitely, I wish I had my website back up, but I don't right now. But you definitely could see the handprints on her face where she got slapped. So that's another incident, where we run into something that's either not happy or negative, when we're out in the field and something's happened out in the field. But like I said, it happens. You either run into this stuff out in the field or you run into it when you go home because it follows you home. But again, that's par for the course for doing this stuff. And me, I wear medicine bags around my neck. I do all kinds of stuff to keep things from coming at me. And sometimes it just happens. Like I said, if they want to come at you, they're going to come at you no matter what. So there's really nothing you can do to stop it. So yeah, it's a very that's why if you go to my Boo Crew shop, you'll see I have a T-shirt out there. That is California House Ghost Academy T-shirt. The back says different things like snowboarding, skateboarding, lunging off cliffs. Then at the bottom they'll say ghost hunting is the world's most extreme sport. It really is. You see a lot of stuff where people are sitting around, and there is a lot of time where you're stuck sitting around in the dark waiting for something to happen. There's a lot of that time. More often than not, you get more of that than anything. But then there are the times when stuff happens, and so you got to be ready for. You got to be alert and ready for that. And there's other times when you're going to feel like you're getting slapped in the face by something. So it is an extreme thing. It can be extreme. You know, we did a case in a house with one of these go back houses that we were working on, and the ghost was actually not a demon, but it was trying to act like a demon to scare the people in the house. And initially, when we went out to do the preliminary, the gal that was with me actually felt like someone was squeezing her face like this, as she could taste blood in her mouth. And I have an EVP of what sounds like something telling us to get out of the house. It sounds it's kind of human, but it doesn't. It sounds like some kind like a lion, almost like some kind of not even a lion, but like a smaller cat, mountain lion kind of thing roaring, and it tells us to get out. You know, I even slowed it down, you know, to so people could hear it better. And definitely, it was right during that prelim. And here we're not doing anything except looking around the house and asking the client questions. But this being, it turns out, it was human. And it was somebody trying to act like, excuse me, it was somebody trying to act like they were evil. They were a devil. In fact, what went on what went on during the investigation was interesting. We had a crew from Channel 10 out with us. It was around Halloween time, and both the men in our crew, excuse me, something grabbed and reached down and touched their manhood. Both the guys that were there that night. The man from Channel 10 and one of my investigators. This thing, you know, this guy reached down and touched someone. Let me just say that, right? Just to scare them. And then we had a couple of women on our team that had crosses around their neck, and they witnessed, I didn't see this, but they witnessed the cross being pulled up, and then it was straight out like this, like someone was holding it perpendicular with the floor. And then they let go of the cross, and it bounced back down where it was supposed to be. So that freaked them out. They were ready to leave. They were done. They were done for that. But it wasn't a demon. It turned out to be a male who had lived on the property and didn't like the people who lived in the house. And that was the issue. He was trying to scare them to move out of the house. Then he tried to scare us, which doesn't happen very often. We did get that case done, finally. It took like 4 or 5 tries. Finally got our shaman to go out there, and she did some work out there with the client. And then everything stopped. And the client, I think, is still living there with no issues. But like I said, you get like that. You get like the angry ghosts. You do run into those, like that gentleman in this house, you know, in this particular case was angry, so he was trying to act like something dark to scare people. Or the guy at the hotel, for whatever reason. Another experience at a hotel that I had, we were, again, with a news crew. You know, we had the Lone Night News Sentinel with us. And we were at this hotel in Rye, California, with the Rye Hotel. And everybody had gone upstairs with the reporter to do some sessions and stuff. And my mother and I were there. My mother was in the lounge because there was a TV down there. So she was watching TV in the lounge. And I had set up the equipment. I was outside the door for her. And they have a speakeasy there, an old speakeasy, because back then, you know, back in those days, that during Prohibition, the mobsters would come in there and they'd have their parties and stuff. And there was even a little hole that would open up, like in the movies, right? But somebody has to have the password. So if you went on the outside, you could knock on the door and they would open it up and say, "What's the word?" And then shut it and let you in. So there's this banquet room there that has a bar. And there was a story that there is a bartender there who is still there from like 1800s, and he tends to harass women down there. And so I didn't even think about that. I wanted to get the camera set up, so I was in the process of setting up cameras. And I took a camera down there and ran my line. I was running my line with a tripod. And I got the most uncomfortable feeling when I was down there. And I was wearing, I don't always wear black, guys. I have red California hot shirts. In fact, some people on my team have made pink ones. They got said pink ones. I also have what my team affectionately calls the tidy whities. And so that night I was wearing the tidy whities. And I went downstairs. And as I'm setting this camera up, I'm kind of tired. I start getting the feeling I'm being watched, and it wasn't a very pleasant being watched, and I felt really uneasy and nervous as I was down there. And I start looking around. It's dark. There's no lights on. So I'm starting to look around, and I'm thinking, okay, someone is not happy with me being here. Thought about the guy at the bar, and I thought, well, if it's him, then whatever. But I'm going to finish what I'm doing. So I started to talk to it, and I said, look, I'm only down here to set a camera up. No harm, no foul. Okay, I'm not doing anything. I don't want to upset you, but all of a sudden I felt this intense hatred. I mean, just intense, like somebody was coming after me. So back then I was still physically fit, somewhat physically fit before my back got really bad and all my heart and everything. And I did not turn around. I didn't want to turn my back on whatever this was. So when I went up the stairwell, I went up at a slow pace, but I went up backwards up the stairwell, step by step. And I was talking to this thing, and it even got to the extent that I felt so menaced that I told it several times, "Please don't hurt me," as I was backing up the stairwell. Got upstairs. I kind of left the door open. I had to sit down, and I thought, okay, gather your thoughts, get your thoughts together. I went to go upstairs to meet up with somebody, to bring somebody down, maybe one of the team psychics, the shaman, to come down with me to, deal with this person. And I got upstairs, and it was like that scene in Poltergeist when he goes running down there to save his kids, and the hallway seems to get longer and longer and longer. And that's what happened. The hallway was lit up, and then all of a sudden it got darker and darker and darker, and it was longer and longer and longer. And so I started walking down that way, and suddenly I felt like I didn't belong up there. So I decided to turn back, come back down the stairs, and just sit at the command center and just chill. And then I do take pain medication for my back. So I turned around and said, okay, well, to myself. My mother was in the other room. She was having a good old time watching Hallmark. And I decided to go to the women's restroom because there was no water available anywhere else. So I decided to go to the women's restroom and do the tacky thing, right? And put my mouth under, turn the faucet on, put my mouth underneath there so I could get water to take my medication. I get down in position, and this vision flashed in my head, flashed through my eyes, and it was a vision of a hand reaching up behind my head and slamming it into the wall in the bathroom, right by the sink, literally slamming me, grabbing me from behind and boom, doing one of those in the wall. So I turned around. I got up. I stood up really fast and went down and went out the front door. I had to get out of there for a few minutes. And then finally, one of my team members came down and said, "Well, what are you doing out here?" And I said, I told them what happened. I said it was crazy, but I saw this hand reach behind my head, and this vision and slam me into the wall. So we closed the door down there, wrapped up the investigation, went home. No problems. Nothing followed me home. Nothing followed me home. Thank goodness that night. But it was something. It was just weird experience. Again, my friend who has abilities came over, and I talked to her about it. And she says, you were dressed in white, right? I said, yeah. She says, well, what I'm picking up is that this woman was killed there by her fiance. And because you were in white, he took you to be her, and so that's why he went after you like he did. I said, well, how was she killed? I didn't tell my friend at the time how about the thing in the bathroom where I had seen my own head being slammed against the wall. I didn't tell her that. And she says, well, he chased her to the hotel, and she went to hide in the bathroom. And he grabbed her head and, right against the wall. Wow. So I reminded him of, his his betrothed, So that was another interesting adventure, with something somewhat, not something negative, but an angry ghost. I don't, wasn't demonic. He was angry that I had. So like I said, it does happen. That's the risk you take, when you do these investigations. Went back there later on with Trish calling the shots as far as being psychic, and we were live on camera, doing the walkthrough, and she picked up when we were up up by the where all the guest rooms are, that this, of course, was a house. House they had their own staff of a house of ill repute there, and it makes sense because it's an old hotel. But we were picking up foul smells as we were going through, and Trish kept commenting about the smell. And so you could actually, Monica and I were walking through the hotel, and this is live on Facebook, and you could actually smell, the obnoxious smells. And at one point, something tried to push Monica down. And when Trish started to channel this guy, everything out of his mouth was foul. Everything. Everything was insulting towards women. It turns out he was the guy that was managing the ladies of the night for guests in the hotel. And he was a very foul tempered and everything individual. And so so that was going on in that hotel. And like I said, Monica got pushed over that night. She said she didn't. She said she lost her balance, but I saw her pretty much get pushed over that night. She was behind the camera. I think she was behind the camera that night, and I was following along with Trish. So, like I said, it happens, and who knows? Maybe this is the same guy that was down in the basement that came after me. I don't know, but whatever it was, Trish looked up at me and said, "Well, he doesn't like you at all." So it could have been the same individual. So there was an interesting investigation. In fact, we ended up staying the night in a not in the hotel itself, but we had a room for I think my mother was there too. We had a room that was like a little conference we did, and we had a room like in the back, like it was back of the hotel, a cottage kind of thing, where we stayed. No problems back there, not any issues. Just in the main hotel where we were there. So it wasn't, like I say, needless to say, it turned out to be an interesting place to be. It's like anything else. It's like sometimes your personality gels with people, and sometimes they don't. That works the same way when you're ghost hunting. Sometimes you get a ghost that just doesn't want, that you just don't get along with it. It doesn't gel with you at all, no matter what you do, and that's what happened. So if I keep looking over here, I'm looking at the clock. So yeah, so that was that investigation. So I mean, there's tons. I mean, I'm writing a book. I'm finally sitting down to finish my book. I started writing a book a couple of years ago. Never finished it. I'm finally sitting down to do a book. I'm trying to convert it like into an ebook. About the different places we've gone and the different stuff we've experienced in these places. So I'm finally getting that written down and getting all that put together. So I should have at least 3 ebooks out maybe by the end of the year, the way it's looking right now. So yeah, so you guys can be on the lookout for that. Be on the lookout for that. But anyway, we got a couple minutes to go, and I'm tired. Like I said, my sleep thing was really weird. I still feel tired. When I do psychic work, I get tired. I do a lot of psychic work, and I have been. I took a night off, and then I started up again. But it really tires me out. Like tonight, I'm gonna try and get a nap in today at some point so that I can be up tonight from, like I said, normally I would go from 9:30 to midnight, but I don't know. I don't know if I want to do that because I don't know if I can get online over there. And, suspicion because there's hardly anybody in the parking lot. Next thing I know, we got cameras out there, and I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be a copacetic thing to do. That's why I was looking at getting out there, like just before sunset, around 6:15, and then doing it then. Because the other night I got out there just at sunset, then I stayed till like 8, 9 o'clock. It worked out really nice. But that's what I'll be doing. It's figure around 7 or 6:15 to 7. I'll be at McDonald's tonight in the parking lot doing free tarot card or doing some tarot card readings on TikTok. Last Friday was wild on TikTok. Did really well, with stuff. So I'm gonna be out there, and then and we'll take it from there. And then Sunday I will be back here, probably on the phone reading Frankenstein for you guys, just like I always do every Sunday. And we'll take it from there. And I've been trying to get the audio for my intro, which I think I got a good copy of it. I'm going to have to move it over from the other phone, which means I have to get to the internet and McDonald's to move it over. But I'm going to move it over from the other phone, and I'm going to try and put an intro together so that these have a better intro. So, of course, I've got the outro, which last night didn't really work that well, so we'll see how it does today. But I do have, I want to get the intro set up. All right. So again, if anybody can help me out, I'm going to have a bike for sale up on Marketplace later today. $45 for the bike. Please do, because I really, really have to take care of an unexpected deal that came up. Or if you could donate it, to California Haunts, that would be great too. The PayPal address is running along the screen. Or you can, for PayPal, my other account is Caesar's Ghost at yahoo.com, which is also my PayPal. So if anybody can find in their heart to help me out a little bit here to get me through that, that would be great. I would feel a lot better about things. Because, in addition to all that's going on, they have that bill looming over me is not copacetic. So if somebody out there can help me out, I appreciate it. Okay. Anyway, I want you guys to have a good weekend, and I will see you again on, hang on, I gotta be over here. My brand. Cue this up. Before I do this, I have to, be in your face. Let's see how this runs today, right? Okay. So I will see you on Sunday, 6 p.m. Pacific, for Frankenstein. Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. All right, guys. Have a good weekend.